Hey, everybody. Welcome back. Let's just pretend for a moment that it's the late Middle Ages, like 14th, 15th century, and that you are the Prince of Denmark. I know this is a little out of the blue, but just go with me here. Your father, the revered King of Denmark, has just died, and your mother has married the new king, which happens to be your father's brother, your uncle. One night, in the middle of the night, your father's ghost comes to you and says, dude, you're not going to believe it, but my brother, your uncle, poisoned me. And I'm really pissed because it turns out God's Catholic. If you die before you confess your sins, you're completely screwed. I'm stuck walking the night like a zombie. Now, I'm your father. You're going to do something about this, right? Avenge my death. This is your father. And this is the late Middle Ages. So you say, it's done. I swear it. But the ghost shakes his head. He seems dubious and he says, okay, but I know you. And you're not exactly Action Jackson. You're more the poetry type. Don't overcomplicate this. It's really simple. You take a sword, you run it through him. It ain't nuclear physics. And you say, don't worry. I'm on this. Now, I'm sure some of you at least are familiar with this. This is Hamlet. It's a play that Shakespeare wrote, obviously a long, long time ago. Shakespeare wrote over 40 plays, and Hamlet was his longest. Why? Because despite this initial resolution that Hamlet makes, he's a mess. He cannot stop debating and take action. Just a fun fact about the play, Hamlet was Shakespeare's least popular play at the time that it came out because Shakespeare's contemporaries couldn't understand Hamlet's paralysis. I mean, their reaction was, why does he keep talking? It's the most popular of Shakespeare's plays in modern times because we actually identify with his indecision and his incessant inner debate. And that's the focus of this video. It's overthinking and the inability to take action. The more you overthink, deliberate, question things, debate things, worry about possible outcomes, complain about your situation in your head, the less impact you have on the world. And the reason for that is the locus of action is in your head. It's not in the world. Now, there are tools that are really effective in getting you to stop overthinking and take action. The first is the reversal of desire, which you can find for free on the website. And then the second is talked about in a whole webinar on the website called Stop Overthinking and Start Living. Check those out if you want to do a deeper dive into this subject. But for today, I just thought I would talk about some of the benefits you get when you do stop overthinking and start taking action. The first of these benefits is obvious. It's confidence. Most people don't appreciate the intimate relationship between taking action and feeling confident. But Carl Jung put it the best. He said, you are what you do, not what you say you will do. In other words, you can say whatever you want, but the more you talk about taking action and don't take action, the more you lose confidence because you feel like a fraud. And by the way, it doesn't matter whether you're talking to somebody else or you're talking to yourself. Trust me, the most confident people in my practice are not the smartest. They're not the best educated. They're certainly not the most psychologically sophisticated. They are simply the ones who take the most action steps. The funny thing is, it doesn't even matter if they get results. Most of them have experienced serious setbacks. And it doesn't matter because confidence comes from the ability to keep taking action in the face of setbacks. Their confidence is grounded in the bone deep knowledge that no matter what happens, they will always be able to take the next step. So deep inside, they feel unstoppable. There's another more subtle benefit to taking action that has to do with identity. your sense of who you are. The law here is you cannot truly know yourself, have a strong sense of identity, without taking action again and again and again. Stay with me here because it's a little complex, but we tend to think of our identity as fixed. You know, the greatest proponent of this philosophy of a fixed identity was a cartoon character. Probably most of you were too young to remember, but he's Popeye the Sailor Man. He had a saying, and the saying was, I am what I am, and that's all that I am. And as a kid, I actually found this very reassuring because it's like, he knows who he is. There are no doubts. My patients become proponents of this philosophy when I ask them to take action that's outside the norm for them. They say some version of what Popeye is saying. No way, that's not me. It could be I suggest that they develop an idea into a screenplay, and their answer is, no, 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 I'm not a writer. It could be I ask them to promote an idea that they've come up with. No, 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 I'm not a salesman. I've fallen prey to this myself in public speaking. For 55 years, my identity was, no, 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 no. I'm not the guy who gets up in front of 100 people and talks. It is a universal resistance to expanding your identity. And the resistance is, that's not me. But think about this for a moment. If you never tried things that were inconsistent with how you see yourself right now, you'd never expand beyond who you are right now. Think about a child. If a child were allowed to limit herself to what feels right, they'd never learn to read, swim, ride a bike, make new friends. I mean, frankly, we'd all be drinking out of baby bottles. Truly knowing who you are requires you to take action that feels inconsistent with how you see yourself now. It requires you to try new things, things that you feel are not you. I hope this is helpful. See you next time.